All right, Clint, do your thing, baby.
Oh my goodness. Well, DVR here. Welcome to Hamityville Horror. Thank you for visiting. I am Clint.
I'm Don.
And of course, we are joined here today with a couple of very, very, very special guests. We have Mr. Adam Marcus. And of course, we have the lovely, talented Deborah Sullivan also. And you two are a writing team, which I think is just awesome.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing tonight?
Terrific. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. Better now.
Guys had a good holiday, good New Year's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's really nice.
Good.
Really chill. Nice. Just the
That's what
way
you want,
like
chill.
it. Drama.
Absolutely. Well, we're gonna dive right into it. So your newest movie, Secret Santa. Clint has done some campaigning for that and got people to watch it, and everybody that he has got to watch
Thank you.
has enjoyed it thoroughly, including myself.
Okay.
I have the Blu-ray right behind me, so like I said, I checked it out, and man, loved it.
Although I didn't know what to think when I got the receipt, and I was told to enjoy the punch. So
after watching, I was like, "Whoa!"
I'm kind of thinking I don't want the punch, but that's beside the point. You know?
That's Deb's little addition to every receipt.
I was like, "Holy shit!" Now I know why she put that.
So I did want to ask, since this was the first movie that you basically did under your skeleton crew production, that what kind of like your writing process was like as a team, because I'm like that. Like I'll be honest, if I worked with my wife for like 30 minutes, she'd leave the room and we wouldn't talk for the next hour or so. Like I can't imagine like what the dynamic between the two of you would be like. So I mean, just what does that process work like? You throw ideas in a fishbowl, you shake it up, pull them out. I mean, like go ahead.
We've been doing this for a few years.
Uh-huh.
So we've kind of worked out all of the running and screaming and crying from the room and never speaking again. And I haven't buried a hatchet in his head, so we're doing.
By the way, I've let every friend I have know that if I am found with a hatchet in my head, they need to direct the police directly to Deborah, because that's how it happened. So it is the most often heard thing in my home. I'll bury a hatchet in your head. Okay, honey.
But to be honest, with this particular script, Secret Santa, it came out of Adam's head like a volcano. And he just gave me pages and I read and made notes and gave him back. And how many days did it take you to write it, baby?
Well, the script itself was 20. Yeah. So it was one of the fastest to come out of our factory. I mean, here's the thing. Deb and I have written over 80 screenplays together. So when you get to that point, we're the couple that finish each other's sandwiches. So in doing that, the process can sometimes really be very, very quick. And with this one in particular, it was kind of a remarkable thing, because we had just started Skeleton Crew with our brilliant partner, Brian Sexton, who produces with us. And Brian had just been to AFM, to the American Film Market down in Santa Monica. And he came back and he was like, listen, no one has horror. Like, we need a horror movie immediately. And I'm like, okay. He says, but we need to make it for no money. Like, we have no money for this. Like, we're just going to go shoot something. And that, by the way, is part of what Skeleton Crew is about. We've got 3 divisions. We've got a television division. We've got our feature division. And then we've got the where the fuck did Roger Corman go division, which is where we find like new voices and give people a chance to make the movie they want to make. However, like Roger Corman, you're going to be given like a ball of twine and a bologna sandwich and a spatula and told, go make your movie. Have fun. So my feeling was, because we had just opened the company, it was like, look, if anyone's going to have to do that first, I need to show everybody that I'm willing to do the thing I'm asking them to do. So we had little to no money. And so Brian said, do we have any horror stuff that would fit that? And Deb and I started going through stuff, and I was like, no, everything is too big. It's all too much money behind all this stuff. So I had an idea and I called a woman named Pat Destro, who plays Deborah's sister in the movie, plays Aunt Carol.
Yeah, Aunt Carol.
Right.
Yeah, and she had she has this beautiful house by Big Bear Lake, right on Big Bear Lake, and she'd always told me, if there's anything you ever want to shoot here, it's yours.
Wow.
So I called her and said, hey, remember what you said about me shooting at your place? She's like, yeah, great. I said, here's the thing. I got an idea for a movie. There's a great part in it for you. I need to use the house. Can I use it? She's like, absolutely. She said, even if I wasn't in it, I would let you have it. I was like, no. I need you in the movie, but I need the house. She says, great. I said, okay, I need it for the first 2 weeks of January. And I also need you to go to all your neighbors and ask them not to take down their Christmas decorations until Martin Luther King Day. It's like, no problem. I said, great. There were also 2 houses right next to our house that get Airbnb'd all winter long. I said, I need those 2 houses. Go see if I can get them. Great. She calls me back 30 minutes later. She goes, you have the houses on either side of us, and they're going to give you a deal on them. Fantastic. All of the neighbors have said they'll keep their decorations up. Awesome. So now we are set dressed for the whole movie. I've got my living location for all of my actors, and I've got my 2 locations for the film. I'm done. I'm like ready to go. That was on October 31st, 2015. We call our partner. We say, we have a location. We've got housing. We've got everything we need. We just need to go write a movie. And he's like, well, what's the movie? I said, just trust me. We're going to deliver you a horror film that we can do this way. Just trust me. Uh-huh. So 20 days later, we finished the first draft of the script, sent it to all of the actors that ended up in the film, by the way, because I had asked all of them prior to writing the roles. I checked with each actor to see if they would be available, if they could give me that 14-day window, right? One actor couldn't give me all 14 days. And so I said to that actor, I said, okay, great, I'll kill you first. And that's literally what happened in the movie.
Just gotta make it work.
Yeah. And by the way, to this day, he's like, God damn it! I should have told him I couldn't work that extra week.
Sorry.
He's so pissed that he's the first one out in the movie.
Was that the uncle?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Uncle
So
Carter.
I loved him, by the way.
Curtis Fortier is just a brilliant freaking dude. And by the way, he's a great stand-up comic. I had a couple of stand-up comics in the cast, and it does make a difference when you're making a comedy. Yeah. They have a sense of play that nobody else has. They're amazing with this. So we'd written it in 20. We did a table read of the movie, which went particularly well. I think we changed.
Well, it did take us a while to get through it because we could not stop laughing.
Yes,
as we were reading it.
Well, and you know what's great about that though is that all the actors got the script, and I found out later they all confessed they were all calling each other, going, "What the fuck is this movie? I don't know what this is." Right? They didn't get because they were reading it strictly as a horror film, not as a comedy, and they were like, "This is nuts! This movie is nuts." And so when they all sat down to read it, they were all very nervous. It was very funny. And we're piled into Michelle Allaire's home, into her kitchen, right? And if you guys have the Blu-ray on there, there's a documentary about the making of the film. There's shots of us at that table, and we're squeezed into this kitchen. It's hilarious. So we did the reading, went incredibly well. Deb and I did maybe an hour worth of rewriting. There was very little to change from that first reading, maybe. And we scheduled another reading for the next week, for 1 week later. So our partner comes in. He's not read the script. I would not let him read the script. I'm like, I don't want you to read it because I know on paper how weird the movie is, right? Yep. That if you hear it on its feet, it's a different movie.
Right.
So I have him come in. And here's the thing, Brian was going to send Deb and I with a production manager up to Big Bear to shoot the movie. He was not going to be there. He was doing other projects. He was getting other projects ready in LA for us. And so he sits at the reading, and he had a dinner schedule, a late night, 9 o'clock, 9:30 dinner that night, right? He sits down to listen to the reading. We do the read. at the end of the reading, and he's been howling with laughter the whole time. We do the read. He walks into the other room, gets on his phone. I see him on his phone. I'm like, what the? He walks back in. I was like, what's up? He goes, oh, no, I was just moving that dinner to tomorrow. I was like, oh, cool. He says, oh, yeah. He said, no, I'm going with you guys to shoot this movie. I'm going to be on set every day of this. No, I'm not letting anybody else take this one. I'm going with you.
Good move.
And we actually did a second run through after that.
Yep.
And it was even funnier than the first time.
Yep. So now we're prepped and ready and for cast wise. And so we did that reading right after Thanksgiving. So we had from Thanksgiving to the first week of January to prep the movie. Now in LA, Thanksgiving to Christmas, it's dead. The town is just dead. You can't get much done at all. So we're trying to put this movie together, all of us, right? And there's nothing available. And we're just like, we got to make it work. Like, we got to figure it out. At the same time, the cinematographer and I went up to Big Bear. We location scouted. We looked at all. And he brought his drone. So we're flying 2 drones over Big Bear, over the town, right? For all that stuff at the beginning of the movie. We're getting all this like amazing footage way before we shoot anything else. We're just grabbing stuff as we go. We go up to shoot. I think it was, it was the first week of January. We go up to shoot by Martin Luther King Day, by the 14th of that year of January 2016. The movie was in the can because we had 11 nights and 1 day, right? That's it. That's the whole movie.
But the thing about Adam, excuse me, is he rehearses his actors so that by the time we get on set, we're ready. So because we didn't have the time to waste. We all knew we were on a really tight schedule. So not only did we rehearse while we were prepping and all the other stuff, but every morning, which would be actually in the afternoon because we work nights, we would have something to eat, maybe go for a walk, and then boom, we're sitting down, we're rehearsing the scene that we're shooting. We're going through it. Costume, makeup, we're on set, shoot. So it was a well-oiled machine.
And we were actually rehearsing while everybody was eating breakfast. So so there was a feeling of like you're already at the dinner table. So there was always that feeling of like the chaos had a certain order to it, which helps and also makes the actors feel at home in the setting of where they're going to be for the shoot.
Yeah.
And we were all living together.
Right.
So it made it a lot easier.
Oh, this cast was, I mean, you could tell it was gelled together. I mean, you could just feel that like everybody's line delivery was spot on. Everybody's acting, movements, everything was spot on. And, you know, it just felt like you said, you know, the camaraderie's there. And like Deb said, you know, living together, you know, you eat together. So you got your whole dinner experience on the movie. Probably one of the easiest shots of the entire thing, I'm sure, because you do it every day. It's like we eat together every day. So, you know, and you could just tell that. And it was it was amazing.
Thank you.
You know,
I mean, beginning and end of the process, when you add it all together from the inception of the idea, just the idea, to being in the can was 10 weeks in total. So 2.5 months. I've never had an experience like that ever. And I will tell you, to this day, it's still the most satisfying directing and writing experience I've ever had. Like, it was just pure joy.
Yeah. So that rigorous rehearsal regimen to be ready for set, would you call that a callback to running a theater company? I mean, are those old?
Completely. Yeah. But by the way, here's the thing. You know, when I did my first feature, Jason Goes to Hell, I did the same thing. And what was hilarious, so I'm in LA. I was really new. I was 23 years old, but I had been running a theater company since I was 15. And I started teaching when I was 15. So here I am with all these, you know, professional actors who are amazing. And I'm like, hey guys, you know, Sean Cunningham's not going to pay you a dime to rehearse, but I'm available if you want to. And people were like, we're going to rehearse a Friday the 13th movie? I was like, yeah. Why wouldn't we? And we spent a month rehearsing that movie before we ever hit set. And when you look at the performances in Jason Goes to Hell, whether you love the movie or hate the movie, the acting in the movie is a cut above. It just is, because all of these people really got to know each other and talk about character and talk about motivation and get to a place where, you know, actors have a language. And more directors are divorced from that language, because directing has become, since sort of the era of Michael Bay, directing's become more about the visuals than it is about the people. And it's, you know, we're always so surprised when it's only indie movies that win awards. Well, yeah, because they're not concerned with, you know, the dinosaur running over the ridge. They're concerned with, what are these actors doing in front of the camera? How are they telling the story? Your actors are your paint if you're an artist. Like, and if you can't get those colors right, you're screwed. Nothing works.
You're right.
So
you're right. And you saying, and I love the fact that you said, you know, indie movies only win awards. And, you know, we have Jason Pitts is on our message board right now. He did Voorhees Night of the Beast. So he did a Friday the 13th fan film.
Nice.
And it's won, you know, a lot of awards. He's got a lot of recognition for it.
Yeah. That's an example.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Right.
That's an example of how your work is echoed into today, because, you know, I did want to bring this up. I just didn't expect to do it this way. But I mean, your Crichton Duke character is basically a character that had a backstory that never was. You know what I mean? And I like the fact that they alluded to the fact that there was a history between him and Jason that was never explained. And there's work out there today, you know, like Jason Pitts is a great example of that, where they've created a Crichton Duke backstory in their movie. You know, another example of that is Roseblood. Friday the 13th Roseblood, Peter Anthony. You know, and not to put you on the spot, but I know that either one of those would absolutely love it if you watched the movie and made a comment on it.
No. I know.
Be totally gracious about taking any feedback.
I know Roseblood, and I know Peter very well. Peter and I are friends. I think Peter's terrific. By the way, look, here's two things to this end. One, when it comes to character, and Crichton Duke had a full backstory and had a huge monologue that we shot, and then it was cut from the movie for time. Right. Okay. And that is one of the only pieces of footage that no one can find. Like, it's just gone. I'm like, come on, man.
Right.
And by the way, it's Stephen Williams doing this, like, really doing our Quint speech, because that's what Crichton Duke was. Dean Laurie and I are both obsessed with Jaws. It's one of our favorite films. And we both adore Quint. So when we were writing Crichton Duke, it was like, this is our Quint. That's why he says, I'll get you the mask, the machete, the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
Like, he's literally quoting Quint. So we had this amazing speech for him. Now, here's the thing. That is a hallmark of everything Deb and I do. Because even as writers, we write a full history for every single person that's in the movie. Deb is right now working on a remarkable science fiction script. Like, it's freaking great. And I got to tell you, the amount of detail work that she's putting into stuff that you will never hear on the page. You won't hear but you get the feeling that she knows these people so well that they're three-dimensional without her ever mentioning the backstory. But it's because she knows them. It's no different than an actor asking a director, like, okay, can we help build what happened before the movie? And again, if the director's worth their salt, they're going to say absolutely. And if they really know what they're doing, they're going to bring in the writer and have the writer talk to the actor, because so few times do writers actually ever get access to the actors, when the truth is there's nobody better for an actor to talk to than the person who wrote the character they're going to play. The other side of this, sorry. No, Deb.
No, I was just going to say that is one of the hallmarks of our writing, because we world build first.
Yes.
We know who these people are. We know where they're from. We know where they're going to. We know their foibles, all their heroic moments. We that's all planned out before we even start writing.
Yeah. The other part of this that I wanted to address, because you brought it up, is, look, I think I don't know where you guys land on the recent trilogy of Halloween movies. Right. For me, I just kind of keep going like, can everybody stop touching our really nice toys? Like, can everybody leave our toys alone? Because like they're awesome, and I'm so tired of people who don't know how to play with them, smashing them around and sticking them into the oven and doing all kinds of crazy shit to them and telling us like, well, this didn't mean anything, so all your childhood thoughts and memories are now moot. Which, by the way, some people love to say that I did that on Jason Goes to Hell. I did not. I never dismissed anything that came before. I only added a mythology to make some of it make some freaking sense. Because I love the Friday the 13th movies. I was raised on them. I was on the set of the first movie when I was 10 years old. I mean, I'm that guy. So I have a deep love of these movies. Here's the thing. Now that, the rights issues have been somewhat figured out, and I mean, it's a mess, guys. Like when you hear who owns what and how they own and what they own, it's a mess. I will tell you, I don't see. Look, I think Victor's side of it with the television series about Pamela, I think that's more interesting because I go, great, you're not really messing with the Friday the 13th films. You're actually telling a different story, almost the way Bates Motel did, which I think they did a brilliant job. With the Sean Cunningham side of things, with the hockey mask killer in the woods, I am so nervous that we're just going to get Halloween Ends a bunch of times. Here's the thing.
We're 21 and a half minutes in here. We're going to get fucking creamed already. I guarantee you our Facebook group's going to get annihilated now.
Whatever.
Sorry.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry. I'm sorry, guys.
We feel the same way, honestly.
I just, and by the way, listen, I got to say something. I don't get any money if somebody hates a movie. Like, I don't get like special points for that. If you love it, awesome. Like, I'm not telling anybody not to love something. What I hate about like the Facebook fan groups or any of that. And by the way, there's none of this in the Jason Goes to Hell group. We won't allow it. The minute someone denigrates someone else for their opinion on a movie, I'm like, now you lose. Now you just lose. Because it's your opinion. So you have your opinion. Let someone else have theirs. Everybody can be cool about it and agree to disagree. That's great. There's nothing at stake in your life if somebody likes a movie that you don't like. That's ridiculous. It is.
And we've seen it in our group. We've said the same thing, hey,
right.
Everybody's got different opinions on everything.
Yeah.
But, we saw so many times with people, I deleted this friend because he didn't like Halloween Ends. Like, is this what you do? You just read your comments and like, well, fuck this guy. I'm just gonna delete him now. Now here's what's funny.
And also being respectful.
Yes.
Being respectful.
Exactly.
It's
and Adam, I want
you
you to see this quote. I want you to see this comment that one of our really good friends put up. I find a parallel between Jason Goes to Hell as Val. Both took existing IP and took it in a new direction. The difference is Jason Goes to Hell sticks to its guns and embraces its changes. And I couldn't agree more. And I think that's where, and you alluded to it, the fact that there's character building, there's, depth to characters. That's why nobody liked it. Because it just wasn't a bunch of, topless women running around getting hacked and slashed and everything. That actually was a story. So it's like, whoa, wait a minute. This isn't Jason. And
look, to be fair, I gave the world, some of the most beautiful topless women in that movie. It's hands down the most graphic, in-your-face sex scene of the franchise. By the way, concluded with what is usually considered the top kill or second best kill of the franchise. And look, Julie Michaels at the beginning of the movie. Come on now. Come on, I got the girl from Roadhouse to be, to be the first victim of the movie, and then put a bullet in his head and get the feds to blow him up. I mean, come on, man.
I'm sitting here with my head down because I'm just like, he's right. Everything he's saying right now is right.
But by the way, here's the thing that I think that, and why I was making this point about what the studios do with this IP. I love that people are making fan films. Like, I love it. I think it's amazing. I think that look, back in the day, George Lucas, if you wanted to make a Star Wars fan film, as long as you didn't make money from it, he was like, go for it. Have fun. He would send people costumes. The guys who made the movie Troops, if you've ever seen it, it's the cops version of Star Wars. It's hilarious. It's amazing. George Lucas provided them with all the Stormtrooper costumes. Was like, go for it. Because his whole thing was, if my film inspires young filmmakers to go out and just shoot movies, that is the best thing a filmmaker can provide. Like, that's an amazing moment. So when people say, I'm doing a movie about Creighton Duke, I'm like, do it. Like, go, do your thing. Because again, as long as you're not profiting from it, you're profiting from the education that you get from building that. I will say, however, this, and I've warned several filmmakers about this. Make one, then go make your own story. Then walk away and make a film that you create. Look, it's great to do your first film about, the Mickey Mouse of horror, right? So Jason, Freddy, Candyman, Leatherface, these are characters that I think we all sort of, the world kind of owns at this point. I think it's sort of RIP. And again, I'm a creator of material. I don't think people should profit off someone else's creation, but I love the idea of just like going out with your iPhone and your friends and shooting a movie. And if you got access to, a really good camera and really good sound, awesome. But I think that once you've done it, and you've proven I can make a movie, like this allows me to get an audience and I can make a movie. I don't understand a career of making fan films. Like, if you want to be a filmmaker, go tell a story. And there's anyone, look at Terrifier. Like, they made a character who's now in its third film. It's going into its fourth film, because anybody who knows those movies knows All Hallows. And here's the thing, like, that thing's a juggernaut. And they came up with a new guy. Yes. Is it a spin off of, Pennywise to some degree? Sure it is. Like, killer clowns, they all kind of emanate from the master. Got it. But it's its own thing. So I don't understand, like, man, make a horror movie with a guy with a catcher's mask. Like, do something else.
Well, and the other thing is, if you start making a lot of the fan films and you start making money off of them, then you're opening yourself up for litigation.
Oh, right.
And that is just, nobody wants that.
Well, and now that Sean Cunningham has those rights back,
that's what's going to happen.
I would be very, very worried, everyone who's made those movies, because that guy is a litigious SOB.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
He loves his money. He loves his money. Yeah.
And I also think if you want to be a filmmaker, you need to be original. You need to come up with your own story. You need to show the world your view. And if you're making a fan film, that's great, but you're using somebody else's view and spinning off of it.
And again, I know neither one of you, and I love Adam. That was phenomenal. That was fucking fantastic. That was a great way to put a spin on everything, and not, make it sound like you hate anything or love anything. Right, split down the middle, and that's man. What a lot more people need is, like, you don't have to be on one side of the corner or the other. And again, fan films, you can make 12 fan films and they can all be good. There's no doubt about it. That is a distinct possibility.
Yep.
But no disrespect to anybody. You can only watch Jason kill somebody so many times, and then it's like, let's try something different. Or, even look at what happened with Saw. Look at what happened with Hostel. Look what happened with Texas Chainsaw's fallen into that realm. Yeah. Halloween is now. When you have timelines that make no fucking sense and just branch off, it's like, all right, time to throw that ball wax away and start something new.
And look, the thing with Goes to Hell. Oh, sorry, Clint.
That's all right. I was just going to chime in with most of the people making the fan films have already accepted the fact that they're not allowed to make any money off of these things. They're basically anything they take in, they're either throwing it away at their movie, or they have to give it away to charity at the end to avoid things like getting sued.
And by the way, if you give it to charity,
that's great.
And Sean Cunningham comes after you, awesome. Awesome. Like, talk about a way to make him the donkey. That's great.
No shit.
Yeah.
No
That's amazing, But look, again, I think fan films are amazing, and I love that people are making them. I think there should be tons of them so that people actually get their appetite fulfilled through those, rather than studios that are way more concerned with dollars and cents, as they should be, by the way.
Right.
It's a business, as they should be. They should be providing new content. It is, for me, there's something shameful about we have so few monsters that didn't get spawned out of the 70s and 80s. So few. We just don't. We it's like we stopped. Like we went, oh, those are the ones. That's the Mount Rushmore of horror, and that's what we're gonna make. No. Like, there's a reason that period is one of the best periods in all of filmmaking and horror in specific, because people were coming. I mean, Wes Craven didn't want to make any more Freddy movies. Like, he just didn't want to do it. And so much so, he made New Nightmare to basically give his movies the finger.
Yep.
And I knew Wes. I grew up with Wes. Like,
yep.
Wes was like an uncle to me. And he literally is turning around and shooting double shotguns at his own films and saying, like, I want to do something different. He didn't want to make Scream 2. He didn't want to do that. He wanted to make music of the heart. And what a shame that filmmakers are so pigeonholed that they can't tell a story that they believe in. They have to, the only way he got Music of the Heart done was because he finally acquiesced and said, fine, I'll shoot Scream 3, but let me do Music of the Heart. And that's how he made it happen.
And Adam is working on an amazing new script right now that has such great villains and such wonderful heroes, and they're all complicated, and it's scary as shit, but it's original. It's not a derivation of somebody else's stuff. And it's pretty fucking good. Sorry.
Yeah. Damn it. I'm gonna get
does it have a working title?
I'm gonna get exclusive. Yeah, I'm gonna get exclusive out of your ass tonight by the time this interview's over.
The working title, but I think it'll stick, is The Wickedness of the Butterfly.
Ooh.
Intriguing, huh?
Yeah.
I just want to see it because it's Adam's idea. I mean, shit. That's all you had to say. Adam's making a movie with villains and heroes. Fuck, I'm in. Sign me up.
I mean, if there's anything at all that you can say about it, I'd love it if you did. But I understand if you.
Jesus, Clint, poke the fucking barrel a little harder with that stick.
Honestly,
I'm going to ask about the sci-fi movie too. So I mean,
so good,
that's
so
okay.
good. It's the thing that I'm working on right now that is I'm very passionate about. I can say it's sort of a cross between La Femme Nikita and Scanners.
Fuck, man. Holy shit. Yeah, count me in.
I like that.
it's probably the darkest thing I've written in a long time. It's very dark. And brutal. It is brutal. But it's also one of those movies that's really going to be down and dirty. Like, there's nothing sort of glossy about this. There's an angriness to it. And I think it's going to be pretty cool. It's basically, Deb and I have had certain successes in our careers, and it's funny because we're most known for the horror genre, which we love. But the truth is, I've directed award-winning comedies. I've done action films. We've written thrillers. We've done a lot of other stuff. And so there are certain places where Deb and I have made, like, we've made more money in one subset of horror that nobody knows that we've made all that money and we've done all that work, because all of those scripts, one is actually on the blacklist. They've all been bought by major studios, and they just sit on shelves, which is most of what a writer does. Like, most writing is you write shit, you sell it, and then it just sits there.
Yep.
Right.
And so you're feeding your family, you own your house. That's all very nice. But people go like, well, you've only made this many movies. Like, no, you don't get it, man. Like, when people hear, like, we've written over 80 scripts together, it's like, really? Yeah. And what's incredible is the percentage of those that are sitting on shelves.
Which is one of the reasons that we formed Skeleton Crew.
Exactly.
We we have work that we want to put out there that we want the world to see. And it's great that, Sony or Paramount or whoever buys our script, if they don't make the movie, people don't get to see it.
Right.
So that's
it's
why we
quality
started
over quantity too. That's the thing. It's like,
Yes.
you know, you can have 100, you know, screenplays ready to go, and then 20 of them come out, but out of them all, if those 20 are quality stuff, let them sit. Fuck it, let them sit at that point, because they're going to have to get made after they see your work with those 20. Hey, let's make 20 more. Hey, let's do 20 more, and then it's just kind of, you know, avalanches from there.
Look, everything. You know, we formed Skeleton Crew for the reason that Deb talked about, but the other part of it was that, you know, we sat in a movie theater at Lionsgate, just the two of us alone. They had set up a screening for us alone to watch Texas Chainsaw 3D, which, by the way, today is the anniversary of.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're sitting in that theater watching this movie, and we kept kind of turning to each other going, what is that? First off, the movie took place in 1993, but there's a smartphone in it, which couldn't have existed until 2007. And there's FaceTime on that phone, which didn't exist for another 5 years.
What?
Yep.
So how is it 1993? So, and our lead, who was a baby in the first movie, right? At the time of the first movie would have been a baby. That baby would be in her 20s, like would be like 20, 21, right? But according to their timeline, she's in her 40s. Alexandra Daddario, like, I think she'll be in her 80s and still look like she's in her 30s.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
Probably right.
Right? Okay. And then do your thing, cuz. What?
Oh, yeah. What the fuck? Yeah. That's
what?
We did not write that.
Wait, I got better. I got better. I got better for you. A girl who comes from Chicago, who arrives in Texas, says to someone from Texas, "Welcome to Texas, motherfucker." What?
See, these are things I don't need brought up to me, because God damn it.
Right. And by
I
the
like
way,
that movie,
way,
and then now I'm like,
no. Look, and by
No,
the way,
and thank you for liking it.
We like a lot of that movie
thank you very
too.
much.
We do. We like a lot of that movie. I just know that scene with the cell phone, right? Which makes no sense because there were no smartphones in 1993 that didn't exist. And by the way, you know how we know it's 1993? In the screenplay, in the town square, the movie that's playing across from the police station is Jason Goes to Hell, released in 1993. Yeah. So here's the thing. That scene was Leatherface has just lost his chainsaw, right? Because he throws it at the, at Heather at the carnival. And he now does not have a chainsaw. So where does he go? Oh, the local hardware store on the town square across from the police station, right? There's an alarm at the at the hardware store. They are not sure it's Leatherface, but they sure as shit are worried. And the chief of police sends a whole group of guys in to go get who's ever in that hardware store. Cut to 6 police officers being torn to shreds in the hardware store. It's a terrifying sequence, like really scary. Okay,
no doubt.
And it was too expensive.
Yeah,
it was too expensive. They didn't do it. There was a stampede that we wrote. Again, a 3D movie. There's a stampede where Leatherface is walking through the stampede holding the chainsaw while all the
that would have been wicked as shit.
Right. And I was like, and we wrote it, and literally the people at Lionsgate were like, "That's our poster." I'm like, "Yes, it is. That's the poster, kids." Again, Lionsgate didn't end up making the movie. They released the movie. Lionsgate were amazing, by the way, like one of the best studios Deb and I ever worked with. But the producers couldn't get their crap together. They made us write a $20 million movie, and then they went and shot an $8 million movie. Well, there's going to be no stampede in an $8 million movie.
No,
it's not going to happen.
No, not happening.
So when we saw all of this, Deb and I were like, man, we keep writing all this cool shit. The movie comes out, people go, "Do your thing, cuz." And I go, "We didn't." And then you have to tell everybody, "We didn't write that. Like, we wrote." Oh, Jesus. Yeah. So And by the way, like, worst of all, here's my biggest problem with that movie out of all of it.
Again, we're glad you like it.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely.
Leatherface gets his ass kicked by 2 overweight middle-aged dudes at the end of this movie. What?
So I'm okay with that because it gave me a chance that I could survive against anybody. You know, I'm like, so there is a chance.
Dude, that is the best. That is like literally Mike.
Right.
I'm out. Don out.
To
That
see you
was
take
awesome.
on Leatherface. I will
That was
pay
awesome.
money
I'm
to
just
do that.
saying, if you give me a chance, I mean, I'm like, look at this. Not 1, but 2. I'm like, there is a chance that that middle-aged, overweight dude can take on Leatherface. See, I know it.
In the original script, it's 12 guys.
Are they all overweight? They're overweight?
Yes.
No, a bunch of them are. Oh, yeah.
It's
the 12 dudes. It's the last remaining 12 people from the massacre at the beginning of the movie where they kill the whole Sawyer family. So it's the last 12 guys left who are trying to bury this secret. And Leatherface is getting his ass kicked by 12 guys. Yeah, that's interesting, right? So when Leatherface finally gets his chainsaw and he just starts ripping through 12 dudes, that's a scene.
Hell yeah.
2 guys? Really? 2 guys? We got 2 guys.
I mean,
2 guys. And by the way, hiring 10 extras or even 10 stunt people for the day it's really not that expensive.
I'm pretty sure I give them nachos and a case of Natty Light, and they'll be all
there
right.
you go.
I mean,
there you go.
At least we'll negotiate somehow.
Hey, by the way, now you know how Skeleton Crew makes a movie.
Clint, I know where I'm going, Clint. This podcast just ended. I'm going to work for Adam. I know what it takes.
Yeah. So
no, and again, the only reason honestly I did enjoy that was because your name was on it. I mean,
oh brother, thank you. That's
it's like because you just can't slap together and this is one thing that we talk about in our group a lot is that horror movies, you can make any genre work with horror. A horror romance, a horror comedy, horror. You can do it with anything. There are very few genres that you can do that with.
Absolutely.
You can't do like action. Action comedies have done it, but I don't want to see that shit. Like this, like Secret Santa, a horror comedy that works. Yeah, that works. Yeah, 100% of the time. It's balls to the wall from the get go. As you're watching it and you're watching the credits and there's your subliminal messages coming through. Die, lies. Like this shit's gonna turn dark real fast. And I'm like,
such a fun movie.
I was like, such a great movie.
The first thing, the first thing that strikes you is the dialogue. The conversations in this movie are just fun as hell. I don't think that there was any scene that I didn't laugh. I had callbacks to so many different things. I loved, the Mrs. Robinson reference from The Graduate, the Lizzie Borden reference when you're talking about daddy issues,
Penny in the chair. She goes up. I like to spend
the
class
back
the
to
thing.
The Thing. That was
I love that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
I even got the one, and I don't know if it was meant to be, but when main character's name was standing outside looking out and Penny in the back rises up. That reminded me of the first Halloween.
It's 100%. It's literally that shot. That is literally what we're doing. Yes.
Good. Because I was like, man, it's got so many good callbacks. And it's really the only horror movie that I've started, watching and gotten through. My wife comes home from work and the first thing she hears is, I'm going to hit you with my cock. I'm like, oh, God. She's like, did he just say that? I'm like, yeah. She's like, what are you watching? I'm like, it's this movie from Adam Marcus. It's okay. Yeah. Like, it's just a horror movie.
I found it educational too. I learned that you could tell a turkey's gender by the shape of its poop. That was awesome.
That's right. Fun fact. One to grow on.
It had everything in it. It's got everything.
Turkey poop.
Turkey poop.
Skull fucking. It's all there. It's all there. Whatever you need.
Yeah. It's not gay if he's dead.
But by the way, one of my proudest moments was when that became a hashtag in England.
Oh hell yes!
It's not gay if he's dead. It's.
I love it.
Makes me so proud.
I love it.
Proud.
Yeah, there are a few lines that get through, and then it's like that's a hashtag. If any were gonna do it, that should have been it.
And I heard that there was a head prop that may have been left over from a previous movie that got reused.
You bet.
Fantastic.
Listen, if I'm gonna have someone assault someone's head with their nether regions, why not my brother? Because my brother Kip's head has been in my garage low these years, and it's in perfect condition. Still to this day, perfect condition. And it was funny because when we asked Bob Kurtzman to do the movie, so I called him right after we finished the script. I called him and I said, "Listen, Bob, I'm asking you this because I can't imagine going to anybody before I come to you. And if you don't want to do it, I will not be upset. I will not be angry with you. I totally understand. But I have a movie and I have no money to pay you, like nothing." And he was like, "Oh, for God's sakes." I was like, "No, really nothing." He's like, "Give me the script." So I sent him the script. An hour and a half later, he calls me back. He's like, "I'm in. Dude, I'm in. Like, done." And I was like, "Awesome." He says, "All you need to do is fly me out and my assistant and put us up and feed us. I'm in." And I was like, "Done deal." I said, "You'll be an exec producer on it, so you'll own some of the picture, blah, blah, blah." He was like, "This is great." I said, "Hey, by the way, you want to shoot the movie too? You want to be second camera?" He was like, "Oh, now I feel I should pay you." He was so excited. And here's the thing. He's breaking down all the effects in the movie and he's figuring everything out. And he goes, "Listen, one thing, man. This head, this decapitated head, dude, that's an expensive moment. Like, I don't know how to make that happen. Like, we got to cast the guy." I said, "No, we don't. We're good. We're good. Just trust me." He's like, "Adam, my name's on this thing as the makeup artist. I got to know how I said, "Just trust me. I got this." Cut to right before I wrote the movie, right before Deb and I literally put pen to paper. My next door neighbor, literally across the street, is Michael Rady, who is in the movie, plays Ty. Michael is he's best known for things like Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants and every third Hallmark holiday movie where he plays the guy who should realize his best friend is the one he should be with the whole time. And so Michael's an amazing actor. And I walked up to his place and I went, dude, he had been taking class from me for a while, right? We've been working together. And I said, "Hey, I'm going to do this movie, this horror movie in January. You want to be involved?" He was like, "You're doing a horror movie?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm in." I was like, "Well, do you want to know what he goes, No, I don't need to know a damn thing. You're doing it. I'm in. Done." So he said, "Only thing I'm going to ask you, do I die?" I said, "Oh yeah, you die." He said, "How?" I said, "Oh, I know how." Because he looked just like my brother Kip when my brother Kip was that age. I have his head in a box. So I bring that box to Big Bear. We're putting all the makeup equipment out. Everything's coming out. Brian's got bodies and all this stuff. And he goes, "So the head?" I said, "Here you go." And I hand him the box. He's like, "What the fuck is this?" He opens it up. You can still, up in Big Bear, you can still hear Bob Kurtzman's laugh in the wind in Big Bear because it went on for so long. And when he pulled the head out, he's like, "Oh my God, it's perfect." I said, "Yeah, because you guys had left sort of the old way of doing makeup effects right on Jason Goes to Hell, and you went to everything being silicone. So the head, it feels like real skin. It looks like Kip's head." And Bob just did a little bit of makeup work on it. Suddenly it was Michael Rady's head. We were good to go.
And he made it in the first place. So
yeah, it was Bob. Bob actually made that head. So it was Bob's work in Bob's hands. It was amazing.
That's beautiful.
That is amazing. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
By the way, I just have to interject. Every time you say "I'm in," all I can think of is Rick and Morty.
You son of a bitch!
You son of a bitch!
I'm in. You're not lying. If not to mention, it's Adam Marcus asking you if you want to be in a horror movie. What the fuck do you think? What do you think? What's someone gonna say no? I want to know. I want to know who that person is.
Oh, I've had people say no. I had my okay, you guys might not know this. So my uncle who just passed away last March, tragically from cancer. He is a guy named Ned Eisenberg, who, if you're a fan of The Burning, he plays Eddie in The Burning. He's one of the leads of The Burning. He's the one on the raft who gets the shears through his throat on the raft. And again, who's in every 6th episode of the entire Law and Order franchise as a different lawyer every week. So I came to Ned with the part of Joey B, because originally Joey B was written as a man. And I came to him and I said, I wrote this role for you. He's like, listen, pal, listen, I done these movies before. Like, I did that Burning shit. I did that thing before. I'm not doing any of that anymore. I was like, no, Ned, it's a really big part in the movie. Like, no, listen, buddy, pal, I got you. But I was like, well, let me send you the script. Listen, I'm sure it's terrific. I'm not going to do that part. I was like, you're my uncle, motherfucker. What?
That's kind of where I'm like, damn.
And by the way, 6 years later, I shot my second feature. Deb and I had sold a bunch of movies at that point, writing-wise, but my second directorial movie was a movie called Let It Snow, which became this huge Sundance hit.
Oh, yeah.
And Ned has one monologue in the movie. I offered it to him. He's like, oh, pal, I'm in. I love it. Fantastic. I'm like, I had a huge role for you in a studio picture in my little indie. You're going to come in and do a monologue? And by the way, he's brilliant in that movie. Like, I couldn't be happier that he's in that. It's like amazing. But yeah. I think he also was like, probably he was thinking, the fuck, my nephew is 23. What the fuck? Who the fuck gave him a movie? I'm sure he was thinking that. I'm sure that was going through his head.
Hey, you got to start somewhere, damn it.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
I mean,
I think he was just terrified that I was so young. He never thought like this is going to happen. No.
Right.
So, yep.
Right. That's and again, that's the mark you've kind of left on the horror world is, who would say no to being in an Adam Marcus horror movie? So I mean, that's just one of those things, and with Jason Goes to Hell, I mean, like you said, love it or hate it. I mean, you have to respect, what was done in the movie, and I do, and I love it. It's it's different, but it's meant to be different. Now, it's a good different. Halloween Ends, that's a shit fuck difference.
By the way, look, here's the thing. I think much to your point earlier that you guys were making. There came the thing about Jason Goes to Hell. First off, Sean Cunningham wanted the mask out of the movie. Like that was the first order I was given. So it's like, okay, I have to do that. Okay. But the next thought was, look, and Sean was a part of this. There are 6 movies with a hockey mask, one with the Elephant Man and one with the guy's mommy. Like, if you want to watch the hockey mask slaughter teenagers, there's 6 full features of that. You need another one of the same. It's just the same. We're just going to do the same shit. We're going to play the same notes. And for my money, Tom McLaughlin, again, part 6 has always been my favorite because the sense of humor is amazing. And Tommy's a madman and he made a badass Jason. Like, it's just a great performance. It's just great work, but between that and part 2, I'm like, it's covered so well. The Maniac is covered so well that, I can do it. It's not going to be more interesting than those because how do you make it more interesting? So,
the original is different.
Totally.
Totally different.
Totally different than the franchise. So,
yeah. So it was, and because I was told it's the last movie, we're going to do, other things with the character after this. It was like, I wanted to bookend the film. So the first movie, is about a mother who lost her son. And I wanted the last movie to be about a father who finds his daughter. And the other part was that character was supposed to be Tommy Jarvis. But New Line didn't buy Tommy Jarvis. They just bought Jason Voorhees. That's why it couldn't even be called Friday the 13th. We didn't have the title.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm making it Friday the 13th, and I can't call Friday the 13th. What?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure even the Freddy glove was a hard sell too because New Line had that too. But I'm sure they didn't want to cross the franchises.
Well, here's the thing: the minute when that happened, that very specifically happened, and I had to go to court actually because there was a guy trying to take the the responsibility for that moment happening, it was a lie. Like, it was this dude that none of us had ever met before, and he was saying it was his idea. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, dude. So I was filling the movie chock full of what I always do, which is references to my heroes and to people that went before me, because I believe in honoring the creators that came before you. So I had all this stuff in the movie, Cunningham County, Sheriff Landis, the crate from Creepshow, the jungle gym from the birds. I had all this shit in the movie, and I was with my roommates, Noel, who's Sean's son, who was the second assistant editor on the film, and Dean Laurie, who wrote the movie with me, who's one of my closest friends, and we're living together, and they were stoned to the bejesus. Now, I don't partake. I just make fun of them as they're getting stoned and throw shit at them and, make them crazy. And I was trying to come up with more stuff I could put in the movie, right? Like more references. And suddenly I went, wait a minute, New Line, don't they own Freddy outright? I don't think anybody else has rights to it. I think it's 100% New Line. And they're like, yeah, why? And I said, they just killed Freddy. Who better to drag Jason down to hell than Freddy? Like, that's going to be amazing. Like, what an Easter egg that'll be. So I go to the phone, I call Mark Ordesky and Mike DeLuca, who are my two executives on the movie, and I say, hey, guys, can I have the glove and Freddy's laugh for the end of the film? And they're like, why do you want it? And I told them what I wanted the ending of the movie to be. They could not have sent me that glove faster. It was crazy. Next day, it was on set. And it was all because they were like, and again, I didn't know about Freddy versus Jason at that point. Nobody did.
Nobody
right?
did.
There was speculation, but nobody was told that's going to happen. And by the way, it didn't happen for another 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
But because of that, they were like, this is the greatest way to set up this showdown. And so for even the people who don't like Jason Goes to Hell, and God bless them, as I said earlier, an opinion is an opinion. If somebody doesn't like the movie, I don't get pissed at them. I don't act like a douche. I usually ask them why they don't like the movie. Mm-hmm. And then I get a variety of answers, some of which are just like, right, there's not enough hockey mask. I got it. Okay, good. You missed the hockey mask in the movie. Got it. But here's the thing. Even people who didn't like the film, there was a standing ovation at the end of every screening of Jason Goes to Hell. People leapt to their feet when that happened. It was I had never seen anything like it in my life. And I was so proud every time I went to the movie that like the entire audience would leap up and start cheering and throwing popcorn. And it was just freaking amazing, because I think that moment, I think it's iconic. I think that's a really cool, like, that's one of those little things in a filmmaker's career that I can point at and go, that's mine.
Yep, I did that.
And no one else contributed. I wrote it. I shot it. I negotiated getting that glove and that voice. That is mine. So, that's a rare thing for
any filmmaker. Well, like you said, somebody tried to steal that shit. Like,
no,
really?
No. Like, They were trying to sue our Mark Ordesky at New Line. They were trying to sue my friend.
Have fun with that.
And I was like, this is not happening. So yeah, I had to go to court over it. Yeah.
I remember this is embarrassing. I remember when pay-per-view was a thing. And
sure.
You would go over to TV Guide channel and it would tell you see the red. It was like, oh, that's the shit you got to buy. So I'm going up and it says Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. I was like, what the fuck is that? So I'm going through. Now, of course, my parents were like, can't buy that. I'm watching this through squiggly fucking lines.
Yep. We all did, man. We all did that shit.
Wrestling pay-per-views, porn. You might catch a titty here or there.
So much porn. I watched so much porn that way as a kid.
But I watched this, and I could hear some dialogue every once in a while. I'd be like and then it would like cut back. Fuck. Well, I'm gonna have to try to piece this together. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna watch it. So I'm watching it, get to the end, and it clears up for a second, and all I see is that glove, and I hear it, and I'm like, what was that? Well, guess what? Mom and Dad got a fucking $4.99 charge on that credit card the next day because I bought it.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was. I know that was the glove. I know that was Freddy's laugh, and I'm watching that because I don't know what I just missed, but I'm not missing it again.
I love it.
How many days were you grounded for that?
Well, I didn't get to watch. I didn't get to order any more pay-per-views for a while, but it was worth it. It was worth it.
That is a great first-time viewing story of that
Absolutely.
movie. That's awesome.
I was like,
That
I'm like 12 years old. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
I love that.
Buy it. But no, guys. I mean, you just you've left your mark on the franchise. I mean, without a doubt, that's the thing about it. What, and like you said, Adam, whether you love it or hate it, it was a great movie. It was an original idea. That was the best thing. Like all you did was take a character that had already been created and just kind of put your spin on it. And it's an original spin. You can't say, well, Adam copied this. He didn't copy anything from any other Friday the 13th movie. Nothing. Not a damn thing. So kudos to that. Cause again, everybody steals ideas from everybody every day, but at least you try to keep it as original as possible.
Well, and look, let's be honest. I mean, I'm sorry, from part 1 to part 2, in part 1, he's still an 11-year-old kid who jumps out of a lake and drags, Alice to the bottom of Crystal Lake. And I know this because Ari Lehman was a schoolmate of mine. So, that was a kid. So whatever's in the lake is dead and magical. Somehow it's magical because it's risen to the top and jumped on her. And then literally 2 weeks later, it shows up at her apartment. And it's gained 150 pounds of body weight. It's gotten clothes. It's found her address, which the only way you could do that back then was the white pages. So you had to read. So he's learned to read somehow. He's driven there holding mom's head. And best of all, he's gained a very particular sense of humor because he hides the head in the fridge and then hides. And he
Mr. Burns is it.
Right. He waits for her to open the fridge. Wait till she gets the milk.
And then has the common courtesy to take the boiling kettle off of the burner.
Right. He's like, we don't want to
burn the house down.
Remember, he lives in a forest.
Trained well.
He lives in a forest. Only you
I
can
explain that. I can explain the weight gain, because he was in the lake for a long time. Water weight just really.
You float up.
That's a really quick way to gain it, right?
Absolutely. So here's the thing: by saying his mother would do anything to get him back, anything, right? She was obsessed. Why the fuck wouldn't she turn to the dark arts? And why wouldn't she read incantations from the Necronomicon that could bring her son back to life? And now imagine you're that 11-year-old hydrocephalic-headed, special needs kid in the middle of all of this swamp muck and crap at the bottom of a lake and in cold and darkness. And that's the only thing you know. And you wake up and you don't want to go anywhere. You're terrified. You want your mommy, but you don't know where to go, right? And then you see your mother lakeside and you see this woman cut her head off. And the moment that you might be reunited with mom, she's decapitated. Well, you would swim the fuck up to the surface and jump that woman and try to drag her down. Now, if he's part of the Evil Dead, and by the way, I love when people are like, well, Deadites, the rules of Deadites. I'm like, oh, really? Really, Sam Raimi? You're going to tell me the rules of Deadites, jackass? Fine. He's not a Deadite. He's a Revenant. How's that? You want to give me the rules of those two, shitbag? So now you've got a reason why this kid becomes Hell's assassin. And yeah, why not be part of the Evil Dead? Like, I'm sorry. Oh, I can bring Freddy into the franchise, but not Ash? Let's do it. Like, and by the way, that all came from the fact that I was a crazy fan of Scooby-Doo as a kid. Like, I loved mysteries. Like, I loved solving mysteries. And the episode where Batman showed up on Scooby-Doo, my 8-year-old brain exploded. I was like, wait a minute. Scooby-Doo knows Batman? And then like 2 weeks later, the Harlem Globetrotter showed up. I was like, what is happening? And so for me, I'm like, what if all of these characters live in the same universe? And then, by the way, the whole thing about like, well, haven't any of these people ever seen a horror movie? Well, What if they haven't seen our version of a horror movie? Because all of those monsters live in that world. So now the person doing the stupid thing isn't so stupid anymore. So what it did was it stopped treating the audience like idiots, because the problem with most studio filmmaking around horror is they think their audience are morons. It's how you go, well, we'll put a smartphone in 1993. No one will notice. They don't know. They're morons. For us, it's like, no. The horror audience is among not only the sharpest audience, but they're the audience that pick up every fucking detail. They're worse than Star Wars fans. And by the way,
believe it.
That to say anything's worse than a Star Wars fan, holy crap.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm a guy with a full formed stormtrooper right behind my computer, like standing behind my computer right now. So I'm a Star Wars fan. I know Star Wars fans. We're dicks. We are just dicks. Here's the thing. Horror movie fans know these movies, love these movies, and are really sharp about this stuff. Don't treat them like idiots. And my mistake to some degree was trying to be too smart, and it bit me in the ass a little bit. But you know what? I don't care. Like, and again, anyone says they hate my movie, okay, cool. By the way, I have such a Teflon skin about this shit at this point, that on the documentary, when we did the Indiegogo for the documentary, which, by the way, is finishing shooting next Friday at the 30th anniversary screening at the Alamo Drafthouse in Los Angeles. We're shooting the final scene there. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. One of the things that I put in as a perk, that I demanded be a perk in the campaign, was, we have the thank you perk where everybody, you pay $20 and you get a thank you at the end of the movie, and thank you. That's great.
Right.
I said, we need a fuck you perk. If you want to tell me to go fuck myself, $20. Same price as a thank you, but you can tell me to go fuck myself. And by the way, we got a lot of people who bought that perk. Now, my favorite.
Did anybody buy both?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, there were people who bought both.
At least somebody should have gotten both. No shit.
Yeah.
God.
But here's my favorite thing about this. Okay. You can just tell me to go fuck myself for free.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if I'm gonna do it right now, I get away with it. I mean, he's gonna all of a sudden he leaves the call,
dude,
but at least I
totally
saved $20 fucking.
But here's the thing. And this is why I knew this would be a great perk, and why I knew it would work. Everyone who hates my movie owns at least 3 copies of my movie. They own a VHS that's in their grandma's attic. They own a DVD. They own a Blu-ray. Some of them even have the Laserdisc. And then there are those that have collections with it in it. Okay. So if I know that everybody who hates my movie has 3 to 5 copies of the film, I know that they want to buy a copy of the documentary. And what better way to force them to buy it by their name is on the thing, so they have to own it because their name is on it.
I tell you what,
now,
I never thought in a million fucking years we were going to get Adam Marcus's debunking of Friday the 13th Part 2. I didn't think we were going to get the secrets behind the Indiegogo of a documentary. I mean, we're getting everything here. It's just, it's insanity.
By the way, if you track the numbers, so you just spent $20 to tell me to go fuck myself, and you're going to spend $25 for the Blu-ray. So I've just gotten $45 off you. Which one of us is fucked?
And thank you very much.
And I'll be going to make a movie. Bye.
And yet again, here go our members dropping from our Facebook group. God damn it. It's worth it. It's worth it. I'll get those 14 people back. Fuck them.
Look, you know what? I got to be honest. Listen, if everybody doesn't start having a sense of humor about this kind of shit, we're all in big trouble. Like horror has to be fun. It's got to be fun. And it's been, for the fans, it's been a blood sport too long. And by the way, I love the passion of the fans, so I'm all about that. And passion's great. But at some point, you got to go like, wait a second, hang on. These movies are fun. Like we love this because we have a good time.
Oh yeah.
We're not making, Sophie's Choice here, guys. We're doing something that has joy to it. I hate people who take the joy out of it. You know, I don't want to know the fans that take the joy out of this shit. I want the fans that love it and are into it and excited about it. You know, you want Star Trek fans, not Star Wars fans.
Right.
Bingo.
You do.
Well said on that one. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's go ahead, Clint.
Yeah. I wanted to go back just slightly, and I wanted to touch on Deb and the idea that you were working on a sci-fi project.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm interested to hear a little bit more about that, just because I'm kind of like a pretty big sci-fi fan myself, and I love it when that gets joined with horror. But I don't know what your project is like, and I wondered if you could tell me a little bit.
Well, it isn't sci-fi horror, but I do
That's
like
okay.
sci-fi horror. It's how do I explain it? It has kind of a Star Trek feel, but it's a whole new world.
Mm-hmm.
And the basic concept of it is two elite, let's say Navy SEAL teams in the future, hate each other, and they're constantly rivals, and they are forced to have to work together, go out on this brand new spaceship, the Stormbreaker, and stop the villain, the Schism, from basically going through the universes and destroying every planet that they feel is unworthy. So they will take anybody on the planet that they think they can mate and make them super strong and in the Schism, and then they just obliterate the entire planet. So in order to stop them, this group must form a family and figure out how to do it.
That's pretty
I don't
cool.
know.
Man, that
It's
sounds
really
awesome.
cool.
No, it'd
Really
be neat
cool.
to see that idea fleshed out.
It's I got to tell you, she the stuff she's been doing is amazing, and she's been working out scenes in class because I teach actors every week. And she's been having scenes performed, and it is a knockout. And look, I also got to say, you know, Deb is playing one of the roles in it, and she's quite brilliant in it. And as you guys have seen with her work in Secret Santa, like she is a powerhouse in front of the camera. And it's one of those moments.
It's
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Shari's a lot of fun to play. I have
It
to
looked
say.
like it was a lot of fun.
I was like, never have I wanted a bitch to die so fucking fast in a horror movie.
Yes.
I was like, she's creepy as soon as she opens the fucking door. I was like, she's got to go first.
My favorite moment is after I get stabbed by Penny and you think I'm finally going to have a redeeming moment. And I just say, can't you do something about your hair? I mean, just one final
one last stick. Like, damn.
We shot Secret Santa in order. We shot it in sequence. The entire film was shot in order. And it's that rare. Because
that's unusual.
Well, because I couldn't afford to clean anything.
Yeah,
couldn't afford it. So
we had to lay down plastic on the existing rug and then buy carpet to lay over the
covered
plastic.
that entire great room because I knew I would destroy the carpets. We couldn't afford it. So I bought cheap shit carpet to put over plastic. And literally, I was like, listen, guys, when the blood spills, it spills. We're not cleaning it. We're just going again.
Yep. That's where it
and
stays.
we had to keep moving. The rug kept sliding because it's on plastic. Yes. So after every scene, we'd have to move the rug back into place.
God.
So when that first moment, when Deb opens the door on the two kids, you know, that are waiting to come in, it is literally Deb's first moment, and it was her first moment on set for anybody. And what was amazing was that she came to the door, started to do the scene. The whole crew, all five of us, because it was a 5-person crew, that's not a joke. All of us started busting out laughing, all of us, because there was no way not to. And it was that moment that everybody turned to each other and were like, oh, this movie's going to be amazing. Because just from that moment, we're like, we couldn't stop laughing. Like, she's so freaking funny in the movie. And found a way to make even innocuous lines that I didn't want funny, that I wasn't even thinking of them as funny. She made innocuous shit like hilarious. And that is just due to what she's.
Well, I have a good director. What can I say?
Thank you, darling.
So there's some questions sitting over here that I just saw on the comments. I want to make sure I get at least 2 of these, which are.
I'm
hilarious.
sure someone's written like, "Hey, tell Adam Marks to go fuck himself."
Nope.
That's great.
So we got this one from Jason Pitts. Says, I have a question. Nightmare 4 Kincaid's dog named Jason pisses
Mhm.
fire on Freddy's grave. Dog that comes and paws at Jason's mask looks very similar to Kincaid's dog. Was that on purpose?
Boy, I really wish it was. That would be so fucking clever of me. My God, I would be such a badass. No, the dog at the end of the movie is also the dog that comes in the middle of the movie that Diana feeds behind the restaurant.
Gotcha.
That dog's name is Tango. And the only reason that dog is in the movie is because that was Jessica Cunningham's dog, Sean's daughter. It was her dog. And it would always show up if you put a hot dog down. So I taped a hot dog to the bottom of the mask, so Tango would come right to the mask.
Gotcha.
And then we had a larger hot dog behind him, so Jessica would go Tango, and suddenly he'd see like the whole hot dog and was like, oh, and would turn like left that dog went to the other one. So it was the easiest directed dog in the history of Hollywood, and it just happened to be Jessica's dog.
That's awesome.
Plus, that last shot, the mask, was only shot 2 times. That's it. 2 takes. Done.
Wow.
Done.
Damn, that's awesome.
We thought it was going to be like 30 takes. We had so many hot dogs prepared for that poor dog because I want it all in one. Right? Which people are like, you're insane. Why are you doing it in one? I'm like, I want it in one.
Yeah.
And we got it 2 times. That's it.
That's badass. No doubt. And then I know you've probably been asked this one a bunch of times, but Ryan wants to know, any hope of Secret Santa streaming internationally?
It's an issue for Canada and England.
In England, yeah, we got a lot of people
who can't see it right now.
So here's what's happening. Okay.
Right.
I cannot tell you the particulars. Okay. Because we're finishing the deal right now.
Yep.
But we are going to be making a huge announcement about Secret Santa. There will be a release of the movie. It might even go to theaters late in the last quarter of 2023, so that it's set up for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yep.
Right before Halloween. So everybody needs to keep their eye out. It is going to hit streaming everywhere, but it's a very specific deal and it's amazing. We literally just struck the deal over the holidays, so I can't announce it until it's formally announced.
Gotcha.
But Secret Santa is getting the life it's that we always hoped it would get. So yeah, everybody's gonna be able to see the movie, and everybody will see the movie this year. This is the year.
Cool.
There you go. There's your answers, guys. So
I had one more question I wanted to throw out, if it's okay. It was actually on my list of things to bring up, but you kind of alluded to it earlier about having a lot of projects that you wrote and worked on shelved, and I was just curious, and I'm expecting probably your answers to be different. Are there any projects that you worked on and sold that got shelved that you would have loved to see made, or still would like to see made?
All of them.
I knew one of them was going to say all of them. I knew that.
All of them,
of course.
Well, funny story. Excuse me. In the past 6 months, we have had interest in 2 of our older scripts, one of which we are in pre-production for right now, and the other one is being negotiated. So nothing is ever dead.
No,
it's just taking a nap.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's the next movie we're producing that Deb and I wrote, that Skeleton Crew's producing for the company, is Bob Kurtzman's directorial return. And so we're doing a movie called Hunting Season that is ostensibly Predator meets the Bigfoot legend. And but we like to think of it as Jaws in the Woods or Paws. And it is badass. Like it is a crazy badass.
I'm already in. I'm already in.
Funny enough, it would actually be the movie I would pitch if I were doing another Friday the 13th movie. Yeah. So yes, because I've always said the best movie to make now about Jason Voorhees, if you want to do the Killer in the Woods, great, is you get somebody to play Tommy Jarvis, you get somebody to play Creighton Duke, because Creighton Duke didn't die, he just had his back broken. And by the way, you get Stephen Williams, who's still a badass motherfucker.
Yes.
And you get Tom Matthews, you put him in the woods, okay, with a team of hunters, and they go and hunt Jason Voorhees. and you make Friday the 13th part whatever, The Hunt for Jason Voorhees. And you do it sort of First Blood, Predator style. And so Hunting Season is kind of that movie without Jason Voorhees, where there is actually, where the legend of Bigfoot is not what anyone ever thought it actually was. That the reason that Bigfoot has been seen so little, and that it's more about the legend than anybody who actually can tell you, oh, I saw Bigfoot. It's because if you see Bigfoot, you're dead. Mm-hmm. There's no coming back. Unlike Jason Voorhees, who, if you see him, you might even take a photograph of him, and it'll end up in Roy's wallet in part 5. Because sure.
Right.
Yeah, because that's a real thing that happens. Or you pull out a fucking minigun out of your, little mini 357 out of your glove box and shoot him. Try to give him a fucking, American Express. All right, so because I know he's chopping at the bit here. So Jason Pitts, he is all over this. As soon as you said Bigfoot,
that's the movie he made.
That's the movie
he's Night of the Beast.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome.
And if you have not checked it out, Adam, check it out.
I will totally check it out.
It's doing really well. It's got over 500,000 views.
Yeah, 500,000 views on YouTube.
Doing great. Yeah.
I love it. Brilliant.
Brilliant. That's like amazing. You have to tell him. I'm like, if it comes up, done. So now it's done.
I love it. But by the way, Clint, to your point, there is a project. Deb and I have a remake of I Walk with a Zombie that is still at RKO Studios, and they still want to make it. So I'm directing that at some point. That's been 2008 is when we started on that project.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Our movie Momentum was a Blacklist script from 1995, and it came out in 2015.
Yeah,
good.
I just recently watched it. Yeah.
That's just shit that happens. But I will tell you, there's a movie that we wrote that Fox owns. So Disney owns it now. Sitting on a shelf. It's called Black Autumn. It's a Blacklist script. And it was our first script, actually. And that was our first screenplay together that Deb and I ever wrote together. That was our very first one. It took over a decade for it to get sold originally. And now it's just sat at Fox for 20 years. And I will tell you, that is a movie I would kill to make. And it's kind of akin to Suspiria. It's in that world, but New England all girls boarding school, and there might be witches. And it is dark and terrifying and brutal, and I love that.
Really good.
That sounds amazing. As soon as you say you have me, it's Suspiria.
Yeah, well, it's and by the way, when I saw the remake of Suspiria, I was like,
You're like,
nothing like that.
Is that mine? Is that
not like that?
Yeah,
not like that.
This is not how to do Suspiria.
Yeah.
You got to give him credit. It was fucking weird.
Oh, it was fucking weird.
God bless him.
I wholeheartedly agree there.
Yep, great filmmaker and really interesting actors. Like the performances are really cool, but ooh, lordy.
Yeah, well, it's hard. That's just there's ones that's like trying to remake Jaws, and I bring this up to Clint. I don't know how many times. Like you cannot touch perfection.
Nope,
you just can't.
It's sort of like making 3 back-to-back sequels trilogy of The Exorcist. I mean, who would be stupid enough to do that?
Oh fuck! That really happened.
Womp, womp.
Hey, now the third one is one of my favorite movies ever.
Wait, no. I love Exorcist 3. Actually, I'm a huge fan. I'm a big Peter Blatty fan. No. I'm talking about what they're shooting right now.
Yeah, with 89-year-old. What's her face?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, can we really?
And by the way, we love her. Like she's
no
a
doubt.
Genius.
No doubt.
Ellen Burstyn all day long. Love it.
Yep.
But what?
Yeah.
Why?
It's been gone, man.
Why, man? Like, by the way, that movie, they put that back out in the theaters in the early 2000s, and it was #1 at the box office. Like, just put the old movie back out. It still plays. It still works.
Mm-hmm.
Every time they show Jaws, when they showed Jaws in 3D this summer, and it made enormous amounts of money. Those movies don't go away.
I have an Alamo 5 minutes from my house.
Beautiful.
And I live here in Winchester, Virginia, and I got
Mhm.
one 5 minutes from my house. Every time they play Ghostbusters, every time they play Jaws, every time they play Back to the Future,
Yep.
I'm there.
Yep.
Every
there.
time. I'm
Yeah.
there every time. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so is everybody else. The showings they're packed.
Yep.
So
Well, the thing is, you can watch those things on your television, but those kind of movies, they're a communal experience. You want to see them in a theater, and you want to share that experience with all the other people that are there.
Yeah.
It's still
just,
good.
it's just like
in
horror,
your
man.
living
You
room,
guys
but
know
it's
that.
not the same.
And you guys know that too with the horror movies. It's a communal thing. It's, and it was a shame that, unfortunately, Adam, we didn't get to see you with, the event we had with you. Not going to touch on that one. But it's a shame that we missed it, because that would have been a shit ton of fun to meet you and Kane.
I will tell you what ended up happening just from Kane and I, what Kane and I did, at the end for the fans, when we, we just met in a lobby of a building and like hung out with people, was kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Like there were a lot of tears. There were a lot of people just really like it. We ended up with a much more intimate sort of experience with everybody, because Kane and I both were like, there's no way we're disappointing the fans. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
And we flew to Allentown. We were there. I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, you talk about,
I know.
clusterfuck.
I talked to you a couple times, and you were just blown away. You're just flabbergasted with the whole thing.
My road agent, Stacy, she's like, I've been doing this for 30 years. I've never seen anything like this. This is the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah. We were really disappointed.
I'm just not gonna fuck over the fans. Like someone else can fuck them over. It's not gonna be me.
Yeah, you did the right thing, baby.
Thank you.
Yeah, you definitely did, man. And if we get a chance to do anything with you on that level again, you can bet your ass we'll make it work. There's no doubt about that.
I love it. Be awesome. That'd be awesome.
we have kept you guys on here for damn near an hour and a half. We don't like to keep a lot of people on here that long, but man, it doesn't feel like an hour and a half.
It's been great fun.
Yes, us too. You guys are great. Yeah. And thank you for the love on Secret Santa. That's
oh, you're very welcome.
I mean, I've been talking about Jason Goes to Hell for 30 years now, so which is great. And again, I'll defend the movie till the day I die. I know probably on my deathbed, somebody's gonna be like, "That movie sucks." Like, oh, okay.
Like, God damn, guys, fucking dead horse.
But really? I will say, I think that the new documentary is gonna be really kind of amazing for people. I think there's a lot of stuff that people don't know that is gonna be kind of shocking and incredible. And also, there's a lot of new stuff coming from Skeleton Crew, like a ton. And
I'm interested in those projects.
I am too.
Where do we find information on that so we can tell everybody?
You will honestly, the best place is to follow us on social media, whether it's Adam Marcus 13 on Instagram or on Twitter, and also on Facebook. I'm still an OG Facebook dude. I like posting there daily and letting people know what's going on. I will tell you, the documentary will be out this summer. It will be out for the 30th anniversary of the movie. It's already got its premiere. I can't say where yet because they haven't announced it, but it's a pretty cool premiere for the movie. Pretty amazing. And regards to hunting season, the Wickedness of the Butterfly, Stormbreaker, all of this other stuff, just keep watching us, because we're going to be dropping stuff all the time. We're going to be dropping new clues to what's going on. But it's a lot.
I'm at Deb Sullivan M on Instagram and Deborah Sullivan on Facebook, and I'm also on TikTok. But
I can't do TikTok.
I am. Thank you.
I can't. I'm like fuck this. I don't know what I'm doing.
I put out a video going, this is my face trying to figure out TikTok.
I did the same thing. Like, what is happening? Instagram, same thing. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna stick to Facebook. And Adam, I do want to say something with you, especially. Most directors, they don't stay with their fans like you do. I mean, you're on Facebook and you're on there constantly. So kudos to you for doing that. Most directors kind of shy away. They stay off social media, don't want that publicity, but you welcome it with open arms. So kudos to you for that, man.
Hey man, anybody willing to to give their love to work that I've done, the very least I can do is communicate with you and let you know how much I appreciate it. It's the least I can do.
That's
so
like I said,
I
that
don't
means a lot.
understand. I don't understand artists that don't want to communicate with their audience. I don't get it.
We are very grateful for our fans.
Yes,
Very
we
grateful.
are. Big time. Big time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, guys, Clint, that was their soapbox, right? That was there so everybody could find them and hunt
That
them
was
down.
it, man.
You know,
And I'll make sure I'll follow everything because I want to see what's coming next.
will you please tell Jason Pitts that he can he can just work with you? So said, is there a place to submit projects? I mean, this.
Yeah, there absolutely is. There absolutely is. Look, again, messenger me on Facebook is the quickest way to get to me. We don't give out our emails. We don't do that stuff because I don't want to get inundated.
Yep.
Look, the only thing I can say about specific projects, is that, people have to sign waivers and whatnot because we never want anybody feeling like their shit's getting stolen or some kind of crap like that. And if you're not represented by one of the agencies, when you put your material out there, you're putting it at risk.
Yeah.
So I never want and the other problem is, we're working our butts off. So when someone's like, I've got a screenplay, I'm like, great. Can you give me a pitch, please? Like, stop handing me your scripts. I can't read 120 pages for you.
Yeah.
But you know what I can read? A paragraph that tells me what your movie is. And if that paragraph's really intriguing and really excellent, great. Then there's something to talk about.
Sure.
But everybody wants us to read scripts. I'm like, guys,
it doesn't work. It's not as easy as you think.
No. I don't.
We are already backlogged. We are so backlogged with scripts that we can't even get to, and we're so busy doing Skeleton Crew's own work that we're not discouraging you. We're just saying, I hope you're patient.
No, there's a way to do it, and the way to do it is pitch me a movie. Don't send me the movie. It's like there's not enough hours in the day. It just doesn't exist. So I want to know what young filmmakers are doing. Like, and by the way, Jason Pitts, I'm going to look at your film. I'm excited to take a look at it. That's freaking awesome. And yeah, like I'm always open to having a conversation. Always.
There you go, Jason. Man, told you how to do it right there.
I love it, dude.
One more thing from you have a big fan here. So Ryan Joyner again. You had the balls to take a Friday the 13th in a whole new direction, never change, and keep that fire going. He's a very huge fan of that film, a huge fan of you. So
thank you. That's freaking awesome. Thank you, brother. That's amazing.
Absolutely. Well, like I say, guys, I can't thank you enough for hopping on here for as long as you did. Man, I knew it was gonna be fun. Too much damn fun. Just too much fun. Like you said, there ain't enough hours in the day to have this much fun.
Mm-hmm.
So
thanks,
again, guys,
so much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, and guys, everybody check out Secret Santa. You can go on, what is it? Can you go, is secretsanta.com? What's the website to go order
Secret Santa the movie?
secretsanathemovie.com/merch is the way to go directly to the Blu-ray, the DVD, signed posters, all that cool shit.
And it's worth getting it, guys. It's worth every penny. Just check it out. You'll love it. And again, guys, thanks for hanging out with us.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Thank you.
Love it.
All right, guys. You take care of yourself. All right.
You too.
Good night.
You too.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.